All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I know it's difficult after a loss to get yourself willing to click on the links again, but the 49ers are still in really, really good position in order to not only win, of course, the West, which they've done, but also to win and get the first seed for the playoffs. But I titled this video for a completely different reason. When I say that they get good news after an ugly loss, it's because as I was watching this game, there was just a couple of things that made a big difference in what made it look like you just completely got dominated, and that's not true. And your head coach said the same thing on Fan Nation. There was an interview done, and here's kind of what his response is. The question that was asked was, what was the most concerning or alarming thing to you about the way you lost? Shanahan's response, I don't think anything was that dramatic, the way that was asked. I think when you turn the ball over 5 times, that's usually what happens. Can't have 5 turnovers and get none, and can't have over 100 yards in penalties. So let's just stop here. We have another channel, and the guy that I do that with, it's Sports Talk Detroit. We actually have like 5 or 6 Sports Talk channels. But what he always says is if you turn the ball over more than the other team, you're going to lose. And that's what everybody says, right? But especially if you have 2 or more turnovers than the other team. Now, what if you have 5 more turnovers? The fact that you even thought about having a chance to think about winning down 2 scores with 2 minutes left and trying to get a touchdown, which you were there. You were there. And it didn't work out, and that's okay. But there's a lot of things that I think are going to work out, and we're going to talk about that in this video. But you can't turn the ball over 5 times. Went on to ask, was this loss a reality check for your team, or was it just one of those things? Love Shanahan's response. And this is what's nice about covering the 49ers. Shanahan will, at times, just be candid with what's going on. Not every coach is like that. Dan Campbell with the Lions, absolutely like that. Stefanski with the Browns, another one of the channels that we do, nope, not like that at all. He said, it was just a loss. This is more good news for you. That's what it is. You play a good team and you have 5 turnovers and you have all those penalties. It makes it tough to win. I like how our guys fought at the end, which is true. I wish we could have scored on that last drive instead of getting a sack there. I thought it would have been a great attempt on onside kick with 3 timeouts to have a chance to go in and try to tie it up. But when you play a little sloppy with those turnovers and penalties and you're going against a good team, that makes a tough win. You think? Okay, but is he right? That's the question. Was it just the turnovers that caused a problem? Well, if you look deeper into the box score itself, the answer on that would be yes. That honestly was it. And I'll zoom this in just so you guys can get a little bit better look. You outgained them in the air. You outgained them on the ground. You had more total yards. That's just the way it went. All right, you had more total yards than them. The problem is you had 5 turnovers. You put your defense in bad positions, the offense did. Some of it was a bad play or 2 by Purdy. Some of it was bad luck. Like, that's just the way it goes in the NFL. It's the way it goes in college. That's the way it goes at any level. So what I'm saying is don't panic. All right, if you are a 49er fan, don't panic. You're still in a good position. And I really do believe that you will be just fine. Just fine. Okay? You have 2 games remaining. You go to Washington to play a very poor Commanders team. And then you are back home against a red-hot, but at least you're home, Rams team. Okay? A Rams team that you beat 30-23 earlier this year. And not only that, but let's take a look at something. Right now, you own the tiebreak against both the Lions and the Eagles. So, if you win out, you're good to go, right? If you win out, you are good to go. You've already guaranteed yourself a playoff berth. But now you're looking to the idea of, okay, do I keep the 1 seed? And I think you have a couple of games where you're like, yep, I think we can get there. The Rams are not going to catch you. They can't. You all know this. The Seahawks cannot catch you. It's not possible for them to win 11 games. So even if you lose out, You are going to be sitting at worst the 3 seed. The 3, maybe just, nope, the 3 seed. That's the worst you can do. So you're sitting here and it's like, all right, the very worst thing that could happen, lose out, you won't, by the way. But the worst thing that can happen is that you lose out and you end up with the 3 seed and you have a home playoff game. The best thing that can happen is you win out and you're the number 1 seed and this game doesn't matter necessarily. And wait for it, I'm going to bring up another team in another situation that I think is kind of interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles. So you lose to the Eagles. The team does not take kindly to losing to the Eagles last year in the playoffs. So what did you do to the Eagles this year during the regular season? You absolutely destroyed them. You destroyed them. And I think, knowing what happened against the Ravens, knowing how that game went, I think if you meet again in the Super Bowl, that could be a completely different scenario. Completely different. Not to mention, Lamar Jackson was phenomenal in this game. He completely changed the way he was playing this year. And I don't know if that was by design or if he just kind of, when the game went back to being a very difficult game, if he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of go back. I'm gonna kind of go back to what I used to be, which is I'm gonna run. He had been sitting in the pocket, and then all of a sudden he completely adjusted his game style. I might even do another video on this week because it talks about how interesting and how unique it was. So, and Bosa actually was the one talking about how impressive it was. So, yes, it was an ugly loss. No, nobody likes to do it, especially on Christmas Day. You've had all your presents, you've said your prayers, you're excited, it's Christmas, and you can't wait to watch the 49ers game at night, and then that happens. That's a bummer. I understand that, but here's the truth. Nothing changes. You're still the number 1 seed in the NFC. You lost to an AFC team, so that doesn't even matter when it comes to playoff tiebreakers. Doesn't matter because they're an AFC team. All right, and the team you're going against, the number 2 seed right now, the Lions, they lost to the Ravens too. So even if it's a common opponent, it doesn't hurt you, right? Like, do you get where I'm coming from here? Like, it's just not that bad. It's just not. So you're still the 1 seed. You just got to take care of business the rest of the season. Get your guys healthy. We'll talk about health going forward in videos this week. When are you going to get Trent Williams back? How serious are the other injuries, right? What is it looking like for Ambry Thomas? Brock Purdy. Is that a stinger? Is there something more? Is it something to be worried about? We're going to talk about all that stuff in the videos that we do throughout the week. So make sure you, again, check in, leave a comment. Are you sitting there just disgusted? Or are you like, no big deal. We're still in first. This is the NFL, and sometimes you lose games. All right? That's just the way it works. You don't get home field advantage in the Super Bowl, and that's the next time you have to play the Ravens. If you're going to lose a game down the stretch, that's the team to lose it to. All right? Let me know what you think, and I thank you so much for watching. Keep making it. We want to be your go-to source on YouTube for 49ers content. Thanks for watching. See ya.